deception, it's everywhere you look now. Would you have made that same statement a few years ago, or did we trust most people? Has the world changed, or have our eyes finally opened? Is there an absolute source of truth that we can stand on? And how does the world view us if we're the ones who begin to question too much? Are these questions you're asking? Well, if so, pull up a chair. I'm Kelly Breece, and this is Pastor Clay, and we are overwhelmed by the worldview, okay? We've got the view, and now it's time for
a new view.
Something that we can stand on, something that is solid. So deception. How do you even define it?
Well, there's a lot of ways to talk about deception with it being everywhere around us. You know, deception is one of those elusive issues that you don't recognize until sometimes it's pointed out to you. Otherwise, it wouldn't be deceptive.
Right. So if you ask me to, if I went back to my childhood and someone asked me what deception was, I thought about this. I thought, what would my answer be? And I thought it would be, well, there's going to be wolves in sheep's clothing. In other words, there's going to be some people that you can't trust. It's not the norm. In other words, if a weird dude pulls up in a white unmarked van and offers you candy, you don't get it. That's what deception was to me. It was not the norm. But now fast forward it to today. Fast forward it. And I feel like it encompasses every facet of our life.
It's everywhere.
It's health. It is our education. It is our work environment. It's our religion. It's everywhere.
Yeah. You know, and what's so scary about it is how deeply it affects everything we do. You know, when you look around, as you said, every aspect of our lives. You know, I remember, it's funny because in 2020, and we always come back to that. It's like, really, we have to always, but this was
it's a breaking point.
It was a chrysalis moment where, wow, everything shifted and our perception shifted. For those of us who are believers, we're looking around, especially in our part of the world. You know, I always tell people in our part of the world, which is Middle Tennessee, we kind of lived in a Christian bubble, so to speak, you know, and you all know exactly what I'm talking about, especially if you're from the area. You know, people outside of us thought we were a bunch of redneck hicks, and they're not completely wrong, but we were kind of insulated from what the rest of the country was going through, especially on the east and west coasts and up north. But it was a beautiful thing because we didn't even recognize it until it began to crumble. And all of a sudden, we're looking around, and there's this church environment, the believers who are like, what just happened?
Yeah.
What just happened?
You said it just a couple of days ago. The Bible Belt bubble has burst.
That's exactly right.
And we never thought that could happen.
Say that 6 times fast.
Exactly. It took me a minute. I had to reverse that. So the thing about it is that the really discouraging part about all of this is that we're not encouraged to ask questions.
Yeah.
We're not encouraged to go, wait a minute, that doesn't, no.
Dan.
And I remember when during 2020, you know, in March when the world shut down and we're not allowed to go anywhere, not see anybody. I'm watching my kids not have interaction with their friends. And I remember, I don't know what hit me, but it was right around the end of May. And I walked in my house and I went, that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
It's lifted. Invite your friends.
Right.
Let's go on with life.
Yeah.
Because that's when something just shifted in my mind. And it said, we're not supposed to live in fear.
Yeah, enough's enough.
It's not right.
Right.
Let's move on. And so I started to ask questions. And boy, did I feel weird being the one who asked the questions.
Oh, yeah.
Not only
You become the conspiracy theorist.
Oh, yeah, I've been called that a few times. But just almost reprimanded. Don't question anything.
Yeah.
We worked in an industry where, I'm sorry to say, but it's been highly hijacked by the whole rhetoric of just, you know, everything that we heard in 2020. And I remember just waking up thinking, no.
Yeah.
No. Something deep in my soul says no.
Right.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
So, but that deception crept in. Now, so my question is,
all right. Let's see how deep we go.
Has it always been this way. And did we just wake up in 2020? Have we been that naive? Have we had blinders on for so long that we're just now seeing what's been happening to us?
Well, the answer to that question is, how deep do you want to go? Because the simple answer is, were we just naive? The answer is 100%, absolutely. Deception's nothing new. It's been used for millennia. I mean, it's nothing new. But I think what is new is because of the advent of technology that's so invasive, that's such a part of our lives, the fact that, if anything happens in the world, there's 14 news crews that are on it and creating their own narrative of what's happening. And it's fascinating because, I do this for fun. There's a couple of news channels that are probably the most prominent channels, and they each get on my nerves, to be honest. But here's the problem, or here's the thing. It's like you'll watch one, and this is their narrative. Then another one's covering the very same thing, and it's a completely different narrative. And you're sitting here going, what is going on?
Yeah, and I think
it's deception.
That's how you understand what deception is, because if you don't open your mind up, I only follow this way and I only believe this way. Well, I'm not opening my mind up over here.
Yeah.
Then I don't understand how it's just encompassing everything. I'm going to share an experience that I had with deception, and this has gone back just a couple of years, back to my college days.
Couple of years. Gotcha.
So I joined college, and like so many college girls, I decided, well, everybody's doing it. Let's join a sorority. So I do. So I pledged the sorority, and within a couple of weeks, they come to us and they say, we have this ceremony coming up called White Diamond, and we want you to be a part of it as a pledge. Okay, fine. So they come to us and they say, you have to wear a white dress, white shoes, nothing but white. Okay, fine. So we do this. They take us to a room in the college, and they blindfold us.
Okay. Can I pause you just for a second?
Go ahead.
It seems like that might have been a spot where you go.
I'm thinking.
But anyway, that's okay. Go ahead. What's your story?
Okay. We're going to take you to an undisclosed location. But first, what they do, they put us in a van.
Hey. Yeah.
Common denominator here. So they put us in a van and they take us to an undisclosed location. To this day, I still don't know where we were. Never will. But we walk in, and this room is filled with candles, just hundreds and hundreds of candles. And all of the older people in the sorority that have been there. And we're told not to speak. So I'm walking into a room. It basically looks like a seance when I walk in, and I'm thinking, am I the only one that thinks this is off? This is really, really off. And then after a few minutes, we listen to this lengthy ceremony about why we're here and what we're doing. Then we get marched up to the front of the room where they give us vows to pledge, and we pledge our allegiance to this sorority. And the whole time I am thinking, how did I get in this room?
Wow.
What is this all about? Needless to say, over the next couple of weeks, I unpledged that sorority. And then immediately after that, it was odd. 2 or 3 other sorority sisters contacted me, and they said, how do we get out? Because they don't want to let us out.
Right.
And I went, you get up and walk out. That's what you do. You take all the stuff. And
that's funny.
So, but even today, there's so many parents who would go, what's wrong with a sorority? It's a group of girls in college. It's just, they're having fun.
Do some background.
And that's what deception is. That's what deception does.
It is.
To us.
You know what's fascinating about it too, Kelly, is that when you talk about deception, one of the fascinating things about human nature is that it's almost like people want to buy into the lie.
Yeah.
And it's like the masses like to herd toward the lie.
Yeah.